basketball game and the baseball game, football game. Well, yeah, some of the powwow families, but really the people that go all out for kids go all out for sports. And a lot of our recruiting that worked was at the games, because if you've got 2 kids on 2 different teams, your life is wrecked anyway. You might as well have 2 more and never have a minute for yourself. But the per capitas, I know what's going on at Squamish, all of the tribes. Well, what Puyallup did was totally goofy. They just did a declaration of a per capita without warning the clinic that there would no longer be third-party billing. They didn't warn the people that were in HUD houses that they were no longer going to be eligible for the home they'd been living in. They just dropped it like a bomb on the families, and so for about 3 or 4 months, families were just scrambling, and then all of a sudden, our little kids weren't even eligible for ECAP, and couldn't catch the yellow bus, and they were all very upset. So, per capita, if it isn't planned out and set up right, it can cause a lot of immediate emergencies. That's all been years ago now. It's been 20 years for Puyallup, or 18 years, something like that. But what Puyallup did is declared the same amount for everyone, but only released X number of dollars for basic life support for the children, and the other money is banked, and that's the notorious and famous 18 money, which has resulted in some new houses, some travel, some beautiful cars, and some deaths by drugs and suicide, and accidents, a few car accidents. So it's a mixed bag. And I know some of the tribes say, well, we're not going to do it per capita because everybody will just be a bunch of druggers. But they might also be homeowners. It's how much faith you have in your members, or how willing you are to share. Because some of our tribal councils are very fat and sassy, and their members are having a day-to-day struggle. So it's, you can kind of look around and tell where people are coming from. And the councils have big cars. And they're passing their members at the bus stop.
It's interesting, all of the infusion of money from the gaming, and it's interesting how the states have responded to the federal mandates. But I remember when I was in high school, they had the California Indian Land Claims Settlement Act, and they sent all the enrolled Indians, we all got checks, depending, this is interesting, depending on our enrollment and our blood quantum. So everybody had different amounts. So, yeah, my dad had more than I did, but it was really, it was an interesting way. But I remember there were many elders of our tribe who said, this is wrong, we need to put this money aside in a pot that we can give loans for education or pay for education for our members, so we can help them buy a house if they need to get a loan, low interest or no interest loan to buy a house, so we can invest in member entrepreneurship. And so several people, and I wasn't having with my dad about this, made us send the checks back. Because if you don't cash checks, they couldn't close the case. That was the theory. They sent us back our checks. Eventually, I bought a red car. My money. That's what I bought with it. You know, I mean, I was, 17 years old. What else was I going to do?
What kind of red car?
A Jaguar. A used one, not a new one, but clearly a used Jaguar. But I love that car. Anyway, but I've heard recently that enough people sent their checks back again that they're re-looking at some of the distribution of funds and stuff. So then you fast forward to all the gaming infusion of funds, and I think it's important to study what different tribes are doing, and how that money can actually benefit the membership in ways that don't assume we're all going to go out and drink them up or buy red cars. That encourages entrepreneurship and education and care of our elders and healthcare and all the other kinds of needs that we have in our communities to advance ourselves. And assume, maybe, that we are responsible members. And then give a hand up to those that might need it, and find ways of doing that that's productive. So, and I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all solution. And that's why I think that tribes really need to examine how the money that belongs to all of the members of that tribe utilize it. And that's, again, up to you. You're the members. You're the ones who will be making those decisions in the future. So. That's all I have to say. There was an assumption. I will say, I went to an Indian child welfare meeting up at Lower Elwha early in my career. And there were some non-native state workers in that meeting talking about Indian child welfare. And we were talking about, and this is before foster homes got money from the state, we were talking about that need, and this woman just looked at me and said, well, you all get checks from the government anyway, don't you? And I thought, oh, right. I think the only check I ever got from the Bureau was like $25 when I was in graduate school. They had no money for that kind of stuff. So I didn't know what check she was talking about, but she was under the assumption that every Indian were getting government checks. So that's
that would be the rent. They're way overdue on their payments.
That's right. Well, that's why we have
So any last closing statements either of you want to make before we close the session? Well, again, I think we need to raise our hands and give a round of applause to these amazing workers.
I really thought that all of the questions were going to be about armed fishing camps. Caravans and building occupations. I had no idea what all be child welfare and social services. Thank you. I might have to come back with that, but none of you had any questions.
Yeah, I think that we could happily host you many more times over. There's just so much ground to cover, and 2 hours just didn't feel like enough at all. We're barely touching the iceberg. But again, we're just so honored, and we have some students who have some gifts that they would like to give you to show our gratitude. And Paige, do you want to? Paige made the necklace.
But they're a gift from all of us at the program. Here, we're all very thankful that you came here today, and you took the time to talk to us.
Thank you so much. There aren't words in the English language to say thank you, but maybe everybody, anyone who knows their languages and a way to say thank you and show gratitude, if you could maybe just all at once in whatever language you wish. Say that.
From the McKinley Street
Are any of you my Facebook friends?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I always mean to ask that. And I always forget.
Yeah, some of your posts and pictures of back in the day and some of the stories, like everybody being in jail, and they're just like amazing stories.
So for MPP students, we have half an hour left of our class this evening. Feel free to take just maybe a quick 5-minute break, and then we'll gather back up together to do kind of our last activity and close for the afternoon, other than those who are going to do with Gary in his class.